debt of gratitude to Jeff and Eric for doing this year after year. And first of all, it helps our bridge because we get some really great advice during the half hour. And second of all, their support of the club, not only tonight, but throughout the year is also very much appreciated. And I think I better give you the time rather than trying to say any more. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, everybody. We're here to try and win the Grand National again this year. We've won it playing together 12 times. We had won it 5 straight years, and then we stumbled last year, so we hope to get on the winning track. So we're here to answer your questions. I'll give you a quick tip, and that is open lots and lots of week 2 bids. They're great bids. Fire them out there. You know, good things are going to happen if you open a lot of week 2 bids. Eric, do you have a tip that you'd like to give them?
Well, I see Bud there with his hat on. I'm going to tip my cap.
So, okay, yeah, here we go.
When the opponents open a week 2 bid and your partner doubles, do you play 11 all over that and do you modify it at all?
Okay, the question is after a week 2 bid and your partner doubled. Yes, we do play 11 saw. We do modify it, like bidding 3 of the suit, forcing as it would have been over a 1-no trump opener. It just says that you have some points in case partner has a good hand. So you do have to play it a little differently. Most experts do play it. That's why my advice is open lots of week 2 bids, because it creates all sorts of headaches for the opponents.
So do you also use 2 diamonds and 2 hearts as week 2s and not other conventions?
Eric?
We don't play 2 diamonds as a week 2 bid because we play precision. But I played against Jeff the other day, and he was playing the week 2 diamonds playing standard, which is as good a treatment for the 2 diamond opening as I think.
Definitely, that's what I like to play, is a week 2 diamond when I'm playing standard. Because I want to be able to bid diamonds, because bidding good suits is important in bridge. If you don't bid your good suit, then your partner's probably not going to lead it. So I like to be able to get the diamonds bid. Yeah.
Match play question. You ever let your opponents play in 2 of a suit?
Well, the answer to that is yes, absolutely. It's all about what kind of fit they have. If the bidding goes 1 heart pass, 2 hearts, pass, I'm much less likely to let them play that because they're advertising they have a heart fit. Okay, that's when you open a heart and your partner bids 2 hearts and it goes pass, aren't you glad when they pass it out over there? See, you're happy to play it in 2 hearts. That's what they want. So you don't want that. That's not good for you. But conversely, if it goes, say, a spade, a no trump, 2 clubs, 2 spades, that could be very well a misfitting auction. You frequently want to defend in those kinds of auctions. Yes.
How weak of a opening tool do you use?
Eric?
Well, I mean, it depends on the vulnerability and the quality of the suit. One thing that people say is like having 2 of the top 3 honors is important, like king, queen, 5, 4, 3, 2. But I'd rather have jack 10, 9, 8, 6 and like a side card or 2 because I'll take more tricks if I get doubled and partner has a singleton. So the interior texture of the suit matters and the distribution matters. If I'm 6'4", I have more playing strength than if I'm 6'3", 2'2", with like doubleton, queens, and jacks. But typically like 5 to 10 would be normal, but you keep in mind these evaluation factors.
Yes.
Would you preempt with a void?
Absolutely. You don't want to restrict yourself on preempts. You want to be able to open 2 spades if you happen to be void in some other suit. You don't want to have these restrictions. Pretty much no restrictions is my advice, yes.
Yeah, Jeff, when I was kibbitzing you guys at one of the Nationals, I noticed that you were playing a strong jump shift. I think a competition, I believe the bidding went 1 diamond. I think you got a 1 heart overcall and then a 2 spade bid. And you played that as a strong jump shift.
Yes, well that's a complex answer due to our methods, which I don't think is really appropriate for this discussion. We'll be better to move on. I'll answer that question privately for you later. Okay? Yes.
Should you open 2 of a minor if you've got 3 of a major?
Oh, yes, in fact, you might want to do it with 4 of the other majors. I'll give you a couple quick examples here. I mean, if you have a hand, say, king, queen, jack, 10, 6 of spades, you don't care if you have 4 hearts. I mean, open 2 spades on this hand. But if you have a hand like 6 spades to the king 9, and say queen, jack, 4th of hearts, now that's a very problematical preempt. It's much more likely that you need to play this in hearts. So I would be much less likely to preempt this hand. But again, no restrictions. You don't want to say you can't open 2 spades. Because every time you open 2 spades, lots and lots of good things are going to happen. So.
And a few bad things. Yes.
Does your seat placement matter in situations like that?
Not too much.
Two bids?
Not too much, no. I mean, there's some school of thought that you should be sounder in first seat rather than second. I happen to think the opposite, so it's not so clear.
And
Yes.
what's your partner's response to your week 2 opener?
We like new suits non-forcing for the obvious reason that we don't require a super good suit necessarily for a week 2. But, and let's say you have like 14 points and 5 hearts, and partner opens a week 2 diamond. Partner has 2 small hearts and 6 points, you're in a good contract. If partner has a heart fit, they should give you a raise, and then you might or might not bid game, depending on how well you like your hand. So like he was talking about getting your good suits in, your partner gets his suit in, but you want to be able to bid yours in response. And 2 no trump should be asking for some kind of description. There's nothing terribly wrong with the old-fashioned asking for a feature, or rebidding your preempt shows that you have a dog. And bidding 3 no says you have no feature, but you have a really good suit. And you might have to make up a feature, like with 9 points and queen, jack, 3rd of clubs. I would answer 3 clubs to tell my partner I have a decent preempt with something in clubs.
I'll add to that what I like. See, I love opening week 2 bids so much, I do it with 5-card suits sometimes. And it works quite well when you have the really good suits, say king, queen, jack, 10, 5th, and some distribution as well, say a singleton somewhere. Those week 2 bids work really well. If you start doing it, you'll find out that, and you'll start doing it on weaker and weaker suits, and you'll find out it doesn't work quite so well as your suits get weaker. But so I like 2 no trump to ask how many you have in your suit. And the response is 3 clubs is I only have 5. And then I show minimum, medium, maximum hand when I have 6 or 7 in the suit. So, okay? Yes?
I've had this discussion with a few people here, and I want to know if you and Eric do this. If you open, let's say, a minor, and your opponent next to you on your left does a takeout double, which is kind of implying he's got majors, your partner has 4 of the major and 6 to 9 points. Would you expect him to bid that major?
Well, that's a question. A lot of times I do, but a lot of times I will not bid it also. If I had like 4 little in a major, or 4 to a 10, I don't really want to bid it when they made a takeout double because I don't want my partner leading it. So it's just sort of a bridge judgment situation. So I wouldn't want to really bid a weak 4-card suit very much. I might skip it and bid a no trump. So, yes.
Hand evaluation question, do you add an extra point for 5-card suit, let's say if it contains 2 honors, so you might open up a no trump with 14 points if you were playing, 15 to 17, or the other side of that would be to accept with 15 points in a 5-card suit if you were invited?
Well, I mean, you look at the whole hand. I mean, things that are good to have are aces, honors in your long suits, 10s and 9s in your long suits. Bad things are stuff like king, queen, doubleton, queen, jack, tight. All right. Team captain Nick says he always deducts a point for having ace, king, queen, tripleton. I'm not sure I'm on board with that one, but so you look at the whole hand. If you have king, queen, 10, 9, 5th of a suit, a few aces and a side jack, I would bump that up to a no trump. Might depend on whether or not you're vulnerable. Yes.
You open one no trump with a 5-card major and only 2 in the other major?
with a 5-card major, we like to do it when we're 5-3-3-2 distribution. Not really worrying about whether we have 2 or 3 of the other major. So. But if you're a 5-card major with a side 4-card suit, then it rates, your best odds are to open the major. Okay? Your question about hand evaluation was an interesting situation. How many of you have heard of the rule of 20? That you add up your long suits and points. Well, here's a couple of hand examples that show you what a difference hand evaluation will make. Okay, here's one that absolutely you need to open one spade, regardless of who you're playing with, regardless of any vulnerability or anything. But suppose you have a hand like this, you have the same 5-5 in the majors with 10 points. The extreme difference between this pile of garbage and this beautiful, exceptional hand, okay? And there's all the variations in between, so you just have to sort of gauge just how good my hand is, okay? All right, who's next? Yes?
Do you all advocate the use of fit showing jumps in competitive auctions?
Our opponents, at least at the games we play, seem to like them. They have some merit. But then, like, let's say it goes a spade on my left and my partner overcalls 2 hearts and it goes 2 spades. I think most people would agree that I don't need to jump to 4 clubs or 4 diamonds to show a long club or diamond suit. I committed it to 3 level. So the question is, do you want to play it shows a singleton or void in the suit with heart support, what we call a splinter, or do you want to play it shows values in clubs with heart support, which is a fit showing jump? We prefer the former, but some other people prefer the latter. I would say with conventions, whatever you and your partner can remember and understand and works for you is what you should play.
And different people get dealt conventions that work better for them, it seems to me. So if it seems to come up a lot for you, then I'd play it. It doesn't really seem to come up much for us. So we tend not to play it. Okay? Yes?
20 years ago, precision was the top way to play bridge. And that just kind of died, and now you guys are playing it here. Is it, you find it in the larger competition?
Oh, well, I would have to correct the statement you just made. Precision is more popular than ever. Pairs like Hampson and Greco play the club system that they got from us, and so do Justin Law, Kevin Bathurst. So do all of the pros, basically, have adopted what they call Meckwell Light. Pretty much every professional bridge player plays that system nowadays. So, and it's I must say, it's an improvement. You get better odds than you do at standard. There's enough good things in it. So, yes.
So I've got a couple of partners, we play precision, we spend a lot of time understanding the system, but what we find out is that when the opponents interfere, we also need to spend almost as much time working on the system when they interfere.
Well,
how do you guys handle that?
I've always said the best defense to a big club is a 3-spade overcall. I mean, yes, the thing about precision is you need a regular partner like Eric, something that you can really work on together. It has to be, you just can't sit down with a casual partner and play that system.
So how much of your time is spent looking at when opponents overcall versus understanding?
Well, after 40-some years of playing together, we've figured out how to deal with it. And a lot of times when they bid, it helps us because we know how to play the hands. So, yes?
We played in the G&T last year. We got a lot of teams, even though we were in the C area, we got a lot of teams who were playing the weak no trump or lower point count in the weak no trump, and it kind of messed us up. How do you guys handle a weaker no trump? Your
Well,
system?
I mean, one thing you do, some people like to play what Meckwell over no trump openings, where a double is artificial or don't, which is very similar to Meckwell. But if they play a weak no trump, you have to play doubles as you have a good hand. Generally speaking, we play shows 14 plus, but that's a guideline as well. And then something simple to play is a 2-glove overcall shows the majors. And over that, partner can bid 2 diamonds to ask you which major you're longer in. And then the other overcall is natural. And more limited. It's as good as anything.
I'll add one thing you would like to try and do when they open a week no trump against you is go head hunting and try and punish them. Because if they don't have the values to be out there, and if they don't have a fit, you've got them. So you want to have a double show points and then be able to crucify them if they don't have the values and a fit. That's the easiest way to win at bridge. Okay, that's why you want double to show a good hand. Okay, who's next?
Playing upside down count, can you give us some examples of how that differs from standard count?
Eric, you want to?
Okay, well, a standard count would mean low from an odd number. So if you have like 5 to the queen and declare leads the suit, like usually if you're defending and declare leads the suit, your signal, if it means anything, is count. You don't always necessarily want to give count, but if you think it's more important to your partner. So you play the deuce with 5 to the queen to show an odd number. With upside down count, it's just the opposite. The deuce would show an even number, and high lowing would show an odd number. So it's just the exact opposite. We like upside down because there's more holdings where you can afford to signal accurately as it happens with upside down. I mean, you have to look at various holdings to see it.
For those who are confused about defensive carding, Andrew Garnett wrote a book, and I helped him with it fairly recently to try and explain all the ins and outs of defensive carding. And I don't think it's that expensive. I might want to reference you all to that because it's a detailed explanation. It's Charlie's stepson, and I'm sure he knows how that would be available. So that's a really comprehensive examination of defensive carding. So,
Thank you.
yes.
So using count signals upside down or others, I've learned when to use them. In some cases they're obvious. Declare as a long suit on the board, no other entry. You want to tell your partner when to take his trick. But more importantly, to develop the habit, I'm always giving count. I next need to learn when not to give count.
I think Andy did a good job in the book of sorting out all the different signals because there's 3 types. There's, attitude signals, like I want you to lead this, come on partner. Count signals saying how many you have in a suit, and also suit preference signals trying to tell partner which of the other suits you like. So I think you'll like his, he's bringing some up now. I don't get a single sense of this. But I helped with the project, and it's the best book I've seen about carding. So. Okay, someone else. How about someone new? Here we go.
Sport doubles, how high do you recommend playing? I know most people play the 2 spades, but you guys play higher and why?
Okay, support double, first of all, is a double saying you have 3-card support for your partner's suit. Now, this was originally conceived was like a diamond by me, partner responds, say 1 heart, and they overcall 1 spade. A raise to 2 hearts promises 4 trumps, and a double shows 3. It's a sound idea. It's become sort of, very popular. But there are some questions about when it applies. Like originally it was only I open and partner answers one of the majors. But like we like to play in some other situations, like I overcall, say it goes 1 club, and I overcall and my partner responds a spade and they bid double shows 3 and a raise shows 4. So the first thing is to define what options it applies to and what it doesn't. You'd be surprised how many questions there might be, like suppose it goes a club pass, and partner bids a diamond, which is not a major, and they overcall. So a lot of people like to play doubles to support double, but I would say in general it doesn't apply except when you and your partner have agreed that it applies. We like to play it higher because we play precision. So if it goes like a diamond pass, a spade, and they do 3 clubs, I'm a lot more likely to have a hand with 3 spades and the desire to bid. Like I say, with the single to club, then I have to have a penalty double with 3 clubs. In standard, you have more problems, but I'd say play it as high as you and your partner are comfortable playing.
Does it change with whether you're a third seed opener or not? Because we run into a couple of situations where with a third seed opener.
Well, I mean, with third seed opener and in general, like I say, you opened with 9 points, you don't have to bid again with 3-card support. You can just pass in a support double situation. But since a lot of times you open in third seed with a real legitimate opening hand, I would say it should apply in the same situations.
Support doubles are my favorite convention, and for those of you who don't know, there's the inventor of the convention back in the 1970s. He invented it because he played with a gentleman by the name of Ken Bloom, who kept raising him with 3-card support. And Eric was in a habit of responding on 3s, and so Eric got sick and tired of his partner raising him, and he called it the Bloom Obstinance Double. And it's one of my favorite conventions. I play it all the way up to 4 of a major when I've opened and they respond 1 of a major. If it goes like a club passes spade and they bid 4 hearts, it's very unlikely I have a heart stack and want to double for penalty. The hand I usually have is a big hand that has 3 spades and shortened hearts. So, I mean, I like to play it all the way up to 4 of a major. Yes.
I understand you gentlemen open up all 11-point hands. Do you have any advice for we mortals with respect to which 12s ought to be open?
Well, we open aggressively, but we're selective. We do not open all 11-point hands. We probably open almost all of them when we're not vulnerable, but we're much more cautious when we're vulnerable with those bad 11-point hands.
What about guidelines for the rest of us on 12s?
Well, it's a general advantage to open the bidding. If you see how bridge has evolved over the years, the Goran system was 13 points to open and a 16 to 18 points up front. Okay, people saw that opening with 12 worked really good, so the no trump range gravitated down to 15 to 17. Barry Crane was the first to realize that opening with 11 was very good as well. And so others came up with the 14 to 16 no trump to accommodate the 11-point openers. I lost my train of thought, sorry.
If I have a bunch of queen and jacks and I'm flat and 12 points, I'm not inspired.
Yes, but let me finish. If you open and your partner responds, you're in such much better shape if you end up on defense. You know, you have a much better picture of what partner has and you'll be able to defend much more accurately. That's part of the natural inherent advantage in opening the bidding. Okay? Yes.
You're going to open a minor on the 3rd suit. All stronger suit to me.
Well, I mean, if you're opening a normal opening hand, like say you have 3-4, 3-3 with ace-jack, 4th of hearts, unless you want to open a heart on ace-jack, 4th, which is not my cup of tea, I would open a club even on 3 to the 7. Okay, like I would in 1st or 2nd suit. If I'm opening light, then I need some kind of a half-decent suit. I mean, maybe queen 10 5th or king jack 4th or something, but not, 4 to the 9.
Yes.
Can you respond with just an ace?
Well, it depends. That's the problem with bridge, is there's no hard and set rules, right or wrong. That's a good question. Like there's rules like 3rd hand high and 2nd hand low. We know those kind of rules don't always work. So if I have an ace, and let's say partner opened a diamond, if I had like ace 4th of hearts and shortened diamonds, I would always bid the hearts. But let's say I had a balanced hand without a 4-card major, now I might very well pass my partner's 1 of a minor opening because I don't really have a major to bid. Because if you have a major suit, you might actually have a game, in that suit. So it depends on what they deal you, what the vulnerability is, what the risk is. I'm much friskier when I'm not vulnerable than when I'm red. So Okay? We got about 5 more minutes for questions. Yes.
How much do you play your opponents versus just playing the cards and the odds?
All right, I think I'll take that one. Bridge is multi-dimensional game, and being able to read what your opponent's problems are is part of the game, you know. That's why I like playing at the table bridge as opposed to like online bridge, because, you know, I can sometimes figure out if they're having a real problem, I can figure out what's going on. It's fun, you know. Yes.
Does your strategy change when you're playing a match game versus a team game?
Oh, well, yes, in pairs, you want to be much less aggressive than if you're in a team game.
Much less aggressive?
Yes, in pairs, there's no real game bonus. So, you want to get plus scores in pair games. And you want to fight for the part scores aggressively in pair games. But as far as pushing the games, you don't want to overbid in pair games. In team games, that game bonus is everything. So you want to bid games like crazy, you know, and just try and make them. That's a Meckwell game try. We bid it, and then we try and make it. Yes.
If you go 1 of a major, 2 of a major, what would 3 clubs mean for you normally?
Well, we just play like 1 spade pass, 2 spades, for instance. 3 clubs just says I have a try per game, and I don't want to say anything about the rest of my hand.
It doesn't mean the suit?
No, but 3 diamonds or 3 hearts. If I don't bid the cheapest suit, I definitely have that other suit, and I want you to evaluate. Because some hands you just don't want partner to look that much, and then it's holding in any particular suit. And that's a message that you need to be able to send.
Yes?
I noticed over in Orlando, the fellows of your ability were playing behind walls. What prompted all that?
That was just the setup of the room. There were just the pillars in
You
the
don't
room.
always do that?
No, that was just a random occurrence. Now, in the national and international tournaments, they play with screens dividing the tables.
Screens.
But that was just, happened to be the hotel, so. Okay? Couple more, yes.
Last year, you talked a little bit about making a concerted effort to improve your focus at the bridge table. What did you do?
Well, I did some things. I had a pretty good year. It's about concentration when you're playing. You just need to focus and stay in tune with the hand. You know, not let your mind wander. It's really easy to let your mind wander, or a trick or 2 will go by and you really weren't paying attention. You know, and if you're just going to let the tricks go by and you're not at actual attention, then you're going to get lost along the way. You know, you might luck out and it might not matter, but you know, it takes intense focus and concentration. But we've been doing that for many years, so we've developed that ability. It becomes easier when you're at our level because counting is pretty much automatic. You know, it's no effort to count the hands for us anymore. So that helps. It makes it easier. We can be on the lookout for other things. So, okay. Anybody else? Yes.
I'm interested in the shapes of the hands. What would you say is the most common shape in the bridge?
I think 4-4-3-2 is statistically the most common shape. Now, when talking about counting, a beautiful symmetry in bridge is like if you have your spades, hearts, diamonds, and clubs, it's always 4 numbers that add to 13. So it's even good if you want to practice counting. Make flashcards, 5-4-3-1, 5-4-2-2, and then put some that are like 14 cards or 12 cards, so that you're facilitative with that. And the other thing is, let's say you have the spades that are around the table. There's also 13 spades, so 5-4-2-2 spade distribution around the table is something that if you can realize, it will help you count up the hands. So it's more important to be able to count the hand than to worry about which shape is most statistically likely, I would say.
Would you ever use the gambling 3-note trump with a long minor or an M-yet
majors? We play gambling 3 now, we're showing a solid minor with a side ace or king. We don't play Damyats, but I can see the merit of it. Damyats means opening 4 clubs, so a good 4-heart opener.
We like to open for the minor naturally. It's a hand we seem to get dull a lot, so. All right, okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you all. If there's any team that hasn't got an entry, please see Gretchen.